week we have Zoe and Rachel. Let's make some noise! Let them hear it! Hello! Hello. Welcome. Come, have a seat. Or hug hello. I see how it is.
Is this working?
So many chairs.
We were literally sitting in that green room being like, oh, Emily, she's always late. We're here. Okay, here we go. Guys, we're color coordinated.
Oh, look at us.
I wasn't told.
We're the best.
No one told me.
Okay.
I apologize.
What did I know? What did we all do together? I don't know.
I don't even know.
So we're here to talk about Wynonna Earp.
I don't know. I didn't hear that part.
We're here to talk about Wynonna Earp.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Now you guys are on it now.
Yeah.
I think that was an exclusive.
That's legally binding.
There's so many people here.
Hi, guys. A lot of these people seem to be Lost Girl fans.
Has anyone not seen the show and was like, just
Is there anyone in the
dragged here
audience
by
who's
friends?
never seen Lost Girls?
Yes.
All right. You come up here and answer everything.
Yeah. I'm upset with you.
Spoiler alert, she's lost.
She's so confused. She's like, where is the bathroom? Seriously, this is insane.
I want to talk about the making and the forming of this show, because this show is so important, which is, I don't know how many of you have had to describe this show to a friend and be like, so there's this girl and she's a succubus and everyone wants to have sex with her and everyone she touches gets really turned on and she has sex with everybody. And then there are other creatures. So you're like, this is explaining the show, but this show is so important, especially a show that you have said never says what anyone is in terms of labels. How do you decide, I'm going to make the most important show ever?
Yeah, how did you decide that?
First of all, my name was Michelle Labretta. No, she's not here because she's such a jerk. She's making this other show called Killjoy.
Whatever.
But I do, if she was going to be here, I would just bust her butt. But she's not, so I have to be nice to her, which is the worst. But I want to give a shout out to Michelle Labretta, who is the creator of Lost Girls.
You also were a huge part.
I just took it from her. I was like, I'm just gonna do
And
this.
ran away.
But it is insane in the best possible way that this show got onto the television. I mean that it was just so awesome, and I really think it was. It did feel important, but I feel like Michelle in particular created the show, was very clear that she wanted to have a woman who was bisexual but didn't necessarily define herself by certain labels. And she just never compromised on that, you know? She's a very cheerful person, and she would talk about a lot of stuff, but she always knew what the show was going to be. And we are lucky to come from, I don't want to oversell it, the greatest country in the entire world. It's Canada. Before you cheer. Where luckily TV executives were like, okay, but there's lots of leather, right? Sure, sounds amazing.
We'll talk about the leather.
But yeah, it was amazing, and it just felt like a certain group of people came together at the right time and were really supportive of it. And we cast so brilliantly, if I do say so ourselves, that it all just seemed to come together in this magical land.
When you took over, though, you had to continue this message. And at any point did you go, you know what, I want to go this other direction, but we got to make sure we don't lose anything?
I don't feel like I definitely probably made different choices than Michelle would have made, but I was incredibly respectful of the vision that Michelle had put down, and she had a certain set of kind of like rules, which she would be loath to call them that I knew were important to continue. But also, we were lucky enough that we could see what was happening with certain characters and certain relationships, and it seemed really necessary.
What relationships?
I can't remember. But it seemed really important that because I took over in second season, that we knew there was that Docubus had to be was super important, and felt like everything was leaning that way, so to speak.
Let's talk about Docubus. Zoe.
Who, me?
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just picturing scenes in my head. Sorry, I got distracted. Zoe, did you always feel like Docubus was the right way to go?
If I'm very honest, no. I mean, and here's what I mean by no. The opposite of yes.
Let her speak.
When I say no, what I mean is no. No, what I mean is no. What I think I love so much is that in the vein of not identifying characters on the show and not sort of referring to people as gay and bisexual and straight and not doing that, I also love the idea that there wasn't an agenda. And I think that speaks to that. I think that if there was an agenda, that it needed to be Beau and Lauren, then we lose what we constantly keep talking about. So and I was always open to whatever ending it was, and it had to have been Dyson and Beau or some other.
Calm down.
I think
we're not.
This.
Read the room.
Yeah, sorry. What I mean is gay. Thank you. Yeah, but I think in the vein of things being just whatever they are in this world that we live in, that's full of different people, of different genders, of different ethnicities, of different religions. I loved the idea that it just could have landed wherever it might have landed without an agenda. It ended up with Beau and Lauren, which was lovely to play and obviously, I think for the audience, very fulfilling. And I do appreciate and understand that as well. But yeah, no, I didn't have my own private agenda. No. Sorry.
That is so cute.
Tamsin giving birth was the most traumatic thing I've ever seen. I was like, she's actually having a baby. We should get a doctor. I'm not competent. I can't do this. Yeah, that was the performance of the series for me. I was like, holy cow. Yeah.
Remarkable. I mean that myself out. I was exhausted by the end of that. Like, mad respect to anyone who's had a baby, because I was faking
Nobody has done anything that you did. I was like,
I was just trying to get out of that pregnancy suit. I was just like,
It was real. It was all real.
That thing was so heavy. My back ached at the end of the day. Like, I seriously had such a newfound respect for pregnant ladies. Except I probably shouldn't say this, but I was smoking a cigarette on the corner, and I had my pregnancy suit on, and people were like so judgmental. And then I was like trying to explain that it was like a fake baby, and like we were getting really weird. And
no, wait, it's not.
I was like, it's not real. It's well, bye.
I never wanted it.
I know that on the show we had the episode where our characters switched places with each other. But if you could play a different character, if you could play a character, who would you want to play on the show?
Oh, it's hard for me. Sorry.
Look
away. It's hard for me to pick anyone but Beau, right? Like, she just got to have the most fun, so to speak.
Fun is me, by the way. So.
I would play Beau.
In the leather vests and
everything.
in the leather pants.
Just those bustiers.
And the like the kimonos. Sorry, what am I talking about? Awesome. Zoe.
I was only looking at my phone because I tried to call Anna on her panel, and I texted her before this panel to say, "Where you at?" I haven't heard back yet, so she was like, "Who is this?"
Zoe, I know you got to be another character in the episode where everyone switched, but who would you want to?
So great when you had the dreads.
Yeah.
Who would you?
When I was stoned. Yeah.
Who would you want to play if you could play a different character?
I don't really know. I don't know, because like every one of them is sort of extraordinary. Like I'd love to play Kenzie. I'd love to play. I mean, my God, like Rachel's character was amazing. Vex. Like I'd like to do every one of them. Like we shot for how many days in an episode? 6 days, 7 days. Okay.
7.
So I would just each day just play someone new. Yeah.
I really want to see Lost Girl all played by Zoe. Especially,
I can assure you that would not be a show that would last very long.
It's good enough for Tatiana. It's good enough
You
for
could actually do it.
so
You could do it though. You could do like a one-man show. Like I could do it right now.
do it.
I'm so excited!
Oh shit.
Okay. One.
Hello.
That was my Anna, but that was terrible.
I want to see. We're still missing Lauren.
We're missing so many people.
I know. You go, Carter.
I can't do anything now. I don't even know what you're doing. I feel like
I gave myself a head rush sucking. I don't know how Anna did that.
Forget you're writing a scripted frame.
Yeah.
There's
got to be a lot of that.
You could do all. That's like one of those times when I always open my mouth too fast, and then I'm like, shit.
It started with, no, I could do it right now. And we're like,
So
okay.
I believe you could absolutely do it. We see you on Dark Matter. First of all, playing an android, which you've heard me praise how ridiculously awesome that is, and you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
You.
That's not really new, I promise.
But we see the other person. We get to see the other you. So I think you absolutely could do this, and I challenge you.
I promise you, like,
it's not gonna happen.
The casting on Lost Girl was, I think, some of the best casting we've ever seen on television.
Great.
I really mean this with everything I am. There is nobody that could have played Dyson but Chris Holden Reed. There is nobody that could have played Vex but Paul Amos, and Kenzie but Ksenia. And I am so lucky to have managed to be on a show with the kind of talent. I mean, I'm sitting next to one of the most talented actresses, I think, on television. So there's no part of me that wants to take on those played by the brilliant people that played them. They were extraordinary.
I tried and failed. So. But it is really true, because I would say Vex, like, because it's like, I play Vex, but what made Vex great was Paul.
Yeah.
Like if I had done that, Vex would not have been great. No. And same with Kenzie, or like any of the characters. The people who played them brought them.
They really brought them to life. Yeah.
So I'm Team Tamsin.
Somebody should be. Yeah.
Shots fired, sure. Okay. I had a lot of fun watching the episode where you guys were all teenagers, and I imagine it was a lot of fun to film. Do you have a favorite scene that was really worth talking about?
That scene, actually, Chris and I just felt like idiots the whole time, like, because Anna played being young, like she was so, like she is so sweet, and then when she was young, like she's this little teenager, and you're just like, I love you, and like Chris and I are like, we just look like goons, like we're just like hey, ha ha, like, but it ended up coming off fine. And that was also a great scene because he had to sing Hungry Like a Wolf. And he was so nervous.
He was very nervous about that.
Yeah, so not only was he only eating like apples all day because he wanted to have like ripped abs, but he's gonna kill me for saying this. But
He's so gonna kill you for that.
But then, well, they were pretty good. And then I was walking by the trailers, and his door was open a little bit, and I saw him practicing in his trailer, like his dance. So then we just
No, what I mean is he's gonna kill you for that. Sorry.
So Anne and I were like sitting there having to watch him do this, like, you know, basically being very embarrassed. Just like, I can't believe this is our job. Like, we literally just get to sit here and watch Chris make a fool out of himself. That scene was really fun.
So I'm a data scientist by profession. I can do math.
We need that. We need that.
The character of Lauren was really exciting to watch just because, you know, not just that she was making science sexy and getting excited about science and making science plot, but on a regular basis, she would literally get out there and stab people with science. Like, she was not just Q in the back room saying, okay, here, vote, here's the science you need this time. Like, she was in the ballroom, in the dress, honeypotting Morgan. Like, she was a science action
She took her
hero.
pants off to deliver a baby. Do you guys remember that?
So we're seeing more characters
I took my pants off.
for science.
Somebody better use that as a pickup line tonight. That you were taking your pants off.
I'm on it.
But yeah, so we're seeing more characters like this nowadays. You know, Holtzman and Ghostbusters, LaFontaine and Carmilla. What will it take to get more science action heroines? And Zoe, would you mind being typecast as well?
I wouldn't mind at all. No, I wouldn't mind at all. I do wish we had the catchphrase, I'm stabbing people with science. Because that's pretty cool. Yeah, stabbing people with science.
Don't you feel like science is dangerous right now, though? Like, people are pretending it doesn't exist, so like maybe you can pitch it as like underdog superheroes, because you're like, they use science, and it's like, can they do that? Sure.
It sounds like you just pitched another show to Sci-Fi and Zoe.
These guys are gonna help me make it.
I got a cue for Rachel, more of a request. I think we're all pretty into that dance-off scene, and I was wondering if we could see some.
For fuck's sake.
What's the dance-off scene?
I had like, fuck, what was it now?
Who was doing that beat?
I was like,
I don't know. They were.
I had a quarter for every time someone asked me to do that. But no, seriously, when they were like, because Ksenia is such a brilliant dancer and so focused and talented, and they were like, when they asked us to do a dance-off, in my mind, I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want to have to dance against Ksenia, because I'm like, not, this is not going to be good. And they were like, can you dance badly?
Yeah.
And I'm like, every Saturday night. So that was choreographed, but like the jazz hands,
So
all
good.
It
It was so good. Your face in that scene is so good too. You're so sincere. It's just like, oh.
Well, that's because it was sincere, yeah.
Your cast is so talented, not just as actors, but Ksenia as a dancer. Were there any skills that you have that you were like, can we do this? I really want to show off that I can do this. Zoe. I just feel like Zoe has some.
I don't know. I always wanted to do a scene where we just found Lauren at a club. Like, just raving.
I thought you meant like at a club, because we saw her singing and dancing
Yeah, we
at a
did.
club.
You mean Flora? Yeah, but that wasn't Laura. That was. Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, I always thought it would be like we once upon a time mentioned After Hours Lauren. I kept thinking, what does that look like? What does that really look like? But no, I don't know. Was there something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with football movies. Like, I actually don't know anything about football. Like, I don't understand the game. But I love football movies. It's really weird. And I really loved that, like, when I got to be a cheerleader and a football player in an episode. Yeah, it was so much fun. And then we had this actually, never mind, I can't tell the story. It's like a little weird. Whatever, now I have to tell. Fuck!
Oh my God. You can't leave it with that.
So there was this, they hired this football team to come in and play. And like in high school, I was not like the cool kid.
No actor ever is, by the way.
Yeah, never. And you know, there were like boys that I liked, and like they never noticed me, and I'd like know their whole schedule and like stalk them, and they'd still never notice me. And anyway, so I'm playing football, and they hired this like high school football team, and at the end, the quarterback was like, "So, might be moving to LA next year to go play football. Want to go on a date?" Honestly, there was a moment where I was like, "Yes, I do. Yes, I do." And then I had to be like, "But you're 12 years younger than me, so I can't. I'm sorry." But yeah, that was basically just like my whole,
You were immediately validated from high school.
I was.
That's awesome.
I really was. Like my 15-year-old self was just like, so that was fun. Anyway.
Emily, were there any skills that you wanted to write in for someone, but they couldn't do it?
There was nothing they could not do.
I believe it.
Well done.
But I kept trying. I kept putting stuff in and being like, "You're doing this."
No, it was such an incredibly talented cast, and they were so game. Like they were so dedicated to the show. I really always felt like that. We had fun.
We totally did.
Right?
We really
had fun. So they were always like, "Yeah, we'll try it. We'll do it." And it was such an amazing show because you could try stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It was a try stuff show.
It was a try stuff show.
And I say that, but it really was. It was very
It's really
cool.
unique.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It feels like that should have been the slogan. It's a try stuff show.
Oh, that's a bit like
Try better this, try better that.
I mean, Bo was just gonna try stuff. Bo was like, I'm gonna try stuff. Awesome. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Before we let